lead us to the very first episode of our next campaign, now rebranded under the Second Star Studios moniker. This lovely group of gentlemen before me and my beautiful wife Laura will be joining us for Campaign 2, which is tentatively called Injustice. Welcome.
Injustice.
Woo!
Wow.
Welcome to Session 1. We're going to dive directly into a very lore-rich, entirely homebrew world using the Pathfinder 2nd Edition rule set. So good luck, viewers. There's a lot to go over here. I'm going to try and give a great kind of overview of the world as we launch into it, but we're just going to kind of jump in and start playing the game. So if you guys have questions following along later, you can, reach out, I guess, or something. So we join the party in the nation of Astrapor, called by its residents the Justice, or rather in its more official terminology, the Eternal Justice of Astrapor, represented by this spiral-like jungle mountainous landscape which occupies the central sea here on the continent of Mythonos. Uh, Astrapor is a wealthy nation, relying on sea trade, full of many different races, ancestries, backgrounds, who all come and live relatively peacefully under the rule of the Triskelaw, a term used to refer to the three godlike sphinxes that both rule the nation and adjudicate from on high their marble towers within the main capital, the Astropolis. One unique and interesting thing about the Justice of Astrapor, and specifically the Triskelaw, which has another meaning, is that there are three unbreakable laws that are imposed by these sphinxes upon the nation of Astrapor that were generated long ago at the time of its creation when several mages fleeing a war-torn country to the east came to Astrapor and begged for sanctuary of the Sphinxes. The Sphinxes said, yes, of course you may stay. You just have to follow these three laws. The first is mastery, the Order of Mastery, which says that you cannot own slaves or detain people. The second is the Order of Magic. It says that mortals cannot cast spells, although magic can exist. The actual weaving of magic is unavailable to mortals, with some few exceptions. And the third is the Order of Measure, which says that mortals will live to be exactly 100 years old, barring malice or injury. They live free of disease, and they also would die much sooner than they would outside of Astrapor for some ancestries. So in this region of the world, the Order of Magic keeps them relatively safe from the war-torn, from the major superpower of the rest of the globe, which is the Veonian Empire, situated at the Himamkara Mountains up on these high plateaus over in this area of the map. So without giving too much of a geopolitical lesson, I'm going to let a lot of this play out within the game. One thing that I'm doing this time around, which is very different than how I've kind of DM'd before, or game mastered before in this case, is this world is entirely ours. We're building it from scratch. You're seeing it play out and be illustrated live for your viewing pleasure. So I'm going to come up with some kind of symbol. I don't have anything in particular right now. Something that is visually eye-catching to indicate to the players as we are playing that I don't have an answer to the question that I'm asking. or I don't have knowledge or pre-written material about what's going on, and that collaboratively, as the discussion unfolds, we will write the world. So that's just a green light to my players to say, hey, feel free to come up with something for this, and it will be canon, you know. So I don't have specifically what that will be yet, but I hope there will be a lot of that in this campaign. So you're seeing it all happen in real time. We're going to go ahead and set the scene for the first session. We're going to introduce a couple of characters here right up front. As we pan in on a classroom, amphitheater style classroom. It's rather large. All along the left hand side of the room are arched Gothic style windows, which are frosted to look like kind of almost fractal glass that you can't really see out onto the tropical utopia of Astropor beyond, but a cascade of fractured sunlight dapples the desks as the students sit in the last 2-hour lecture of the school year before going on summer break. Class is about to start. Most people have found their seats already. This is a history lecture. It's kind of a higher end course, and as we peer in upon our players, we see near the front of the room, quite close to the desk and blackboard, Saradwin Wynn, an elven young man who joins us from the Wynn family, a well-known and well-respected contributor to society here in the capital city of the Astropolis. Saradwin sits ready. He has his notebooks out. Not like ready to go, but he is on time at the very least. Several rows behind him, there is Tophoros, who is resting. He has got his cheek on his fist. As many of the individuals in this class, resisting the urge to completely check out in this last 2-hour lesson before the summer break. He has not even pulled out his notebooks from his pack. He is anticipating taking 0 notes this class. To his right, 2 chairs down, we have Chokai, Pavik, a Tengu, who is just bustling in himself. He's almost late. He's got his bag behind him. He sits down. He kind of whispers to Tophoros, "Hey, what's up, mate?" He sits down. Behind them sits Oleander, who does not have a last name. I was like, what is his last name? Still working on that. Oleander.
Ostrich related.
Ostrich related last name. Incoming. TBD. And beside Oleander is Vesrin, who is talking under her breath, making some comments about some of the other individuals in class not being quite as prompt or prepared for this lesson, and trying to remind a exasperated Oleander that we still do in fact have 2 hours of the school year, and that he should do his best to pay attention. As you sit there, the bell chimes. Ding, ding. Yes, I'm sorry, Kijani. I know that you're not in this class. We will get to you. You're a little young for the final course of this history class.
I have no notebook or pencil for anything.
Yeah, much like Tophoros, this is the last two-hour session of class, and you're over it.
I'm also like suddenly nervous too because of like, oh shit, I do fuck. Ah, yeah.
As the bell rings, Professor Oswat enters the room from behind There's a door on the not the student entrance, but a door to an office. He enters, walks up. I suppose you're
Morning,
ready.
Professor Oswald. Oh, sorry.
Good morning,
Shut up,
class.
you bloody idiot.
He grabs a piece of chalk. Everyone, notebooks at the ready. Today we're going to be learning about the 5th era and the Consular Court's 34 sessions that make up that era. At this point, an individual opens the door. It's a bell over the door, and a blinking ding ding.
Honestly,
As you see Ganyan, your friend, the Ifrit, a fire elemental humanoid, enter. He closes the door behind him. It rings again.
Vesrin not quietly scrapes a chair next to her to open up like a seat so he has somewhere to sit.
He hurries up as Professor Oswald, chalk on the board. Watches him climb the stairs. As Ganyan gets up and he sits down next to Vesrin.
Welcome.
He reaches in his bag and he pulls out a piece of paper and he unfolds it and he shows it to you, Vesrin, and it's his test scores from the previous class. The class is Ancient Vaosi language. It's a language course on the Vaosi language, which predominated the globe, several thousand years ago.
Of course.
And you have been tutoring Ganyan on it for months. And he just seems just full of glee at this barely passing grade. But passing, and he's just like... He folds it, puts it back in his bag.
Vesrin nods, and as he turns away, she just rolls her eyes.
As the professor. All right, it's clear you don't have any interest in the 34 sessions of the 5th Age.
That's not entirely true. Please do continue.
No, wait, hold on.
Tell you what. I know it's only 2 hours left before summer break. I won't hold you hostage here. If any of you can regale to me in an impressive and bardic manner the story of the Weepers and how Astropor was founded, I will let you go.
Seratron cuts an eye over Vesrin.
Oleander starts crying.
Vesrin allows like a certain time of silence,
Mm-hmm.
of course, to give others a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And then she very slowly raises her hand.
Miss Quinn. Of course I might have known. Won't you please educate the class?
Yes, well, the Weepers... sorry, above table.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that I'm clear on this.
No, you're good. Do you want to roll an intelligence check, or do you, Cameron, want to remember? Try and remember.
I would like to roll an intelligence check.
Okay,
my best guess is that the Weepers are the wizards who fled persecution and
That's correct.
met with the Sphinxes, and they laid out the 3 orders, the Etrusca law.
That's correct. Yeah, if you'll roll... So I will take into consideration that you, the player, actually remembered my massive lore dump. And I will lower the DC for this intelligence check because I appreciate that. And depending on that roll, I will tell you what you tell the class. Kind of in detail.
Question.
Yeah.
How do I roll a check?
Great question. Welcome to Pathfinder. So...
I know how to do it on for 11th ornament, but the character sheet is not
Go to the
letting
hand.
me. Go to the
Yes.
hand.
Actually,
Talk
so it's
to
going to
the
be
hand.
a. There's not a history check, is there? It's
It'd
all
be recall
recall
knowledge, isn't it?
knowledge, but what kind of recall knowledge?
Recall knowledge, intelligence. I mean,
Society.
society.
Recall knowledge
Sorry.
society, yes. So, okay, two, this is a great opportunity to kind of detail how Pathfinder works. When you do a recall knowledge check for some reason, so like, open up your character sheet, go to your skills, click on
Mhm.
society, it's going to come up with a
Okay.
pop-up.
I see that.
Yeah, so this is going to let you modify, like, do you have any special things going on for you right now? I'll let you go ahead and add a +1 circumstance bonus to this.
Okay. Is that in the modifier or in the
Yeah,
plus
yeah.
one?
So right there where it says modifier, it says circumstance. Type in +1 and click the add button to add that to your.
Sorry, I wasn't clear. Do I type that in the modifier or in the +1?
You can leave the
block?
modifier blank. That's like if you wanted to label why you got this modifier. Like,
Got it.
I'm
If you
super
have
cute
multiple
or
reasons.
something. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And then down on the roll mode for recall knowledge, it should say private. No, it should say blind GM roll. So click that drop down and change that to blind GM roll.
Got it.
This is because in Pathfinder, when you roll a check to remember something, you as the player don't know how well you did. So that when I give you an answer, you don't know if that's complete bullshit because your character doesn't remember, or if that's accurate because you rolled really well.
I see. So it helps with the role play. I love that.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope. Okay. And that's all.
Yeah, and then just roll, bounce me that d20.
Start the campaign.
First roll.
First roll of the campaign. All right.
And it was
private.
Yes. So you give an incredibly passable rendition of the story, the bare basics. You remind
rolled
everyone
two.
how you rolled. I can show you. Because
Can you
I'm not gonna
imagine being
actually-
described as yourself as incredibly passable?
You
Okay.
rolled
he's
a
incredibly
natural 6, +6 from your ability.
Oleander was getting antsy next to you, and you felt
Yeah,
like
distracting. Yeah. So, years after the Veosi, the once godlike beings that ruled over this planet, simply vanished. All of their slaves devolved into civil war, and eventually reconciled and resolved into nations across the world of Mythonos. Those nations then returned to war, having learned to use magic themselves, and scarred the earth irreparably with powerful magics as they learned to wield the forces of magic. Fleeing this terrible hellscape of mage war, 9 incredibly powerful mages, known today as the Weepers, left Veonia and traveled across the sea through the deadly straits, the whirlpools of the Obsidian Mountains, and eventually, at the ends of their wits, landed in the paradise of Astropor and begged the Sphinxes for sanctuary. The Sphinxes ultimately granted that sanctuary and imposed upon them, due to their history and a fear that they would repeat the flaws of their ancestors, they created the Triskell Law, which, again, kind of confusing nomenclature. The Triskell Law refers to the trio of Sphinxes as a title, but also to the 3 laws which they impose. It's the same word. They agreed and invited others from across the war-torn world to join them in Astropor and develop this nation. You do make a point, as you're regaling this, to bring up an often overlooked part of the myth, which is that the Toka natives, the people who are living in Astropor alongside the Sphinxes in peace before the Weepers arrived, the Tengu, were given no opportunity to object or opt out of the Triskell Law when the Weepers arrived. Their people were also subject to the same rules and regulations that were imposed out of fear of the Weeper's own history. And while it has been many centuries since then, there is still a cultural grudge. You don't necessarily say this part out loud, but you know that there is a slight cultural grudge because of that. While the Tengu also benefit in many ways from the Triskelaw, their gripe has always been that they were not given the opportunity to refuse. So you tell this tale to the class.
Of course, I stood for this entire.
Yes, of course, absolutely. And Professor Oswald. Well, as expected, Miss Quinn, an excellent rendition. And
I clap.
you've earned your classmates a bit of well-earned early freedom.
I cheer.
There is a bit of an eruption of commotion from the class. Yes, yeah.
I think that as one might do at the end on the last day of classes, like Topros doesn't have his notebooks out, but like as soon as he says you have earned, he just starts like that slow push his chair back.
Mm-hmm. Put his backpack on one shoulder. Begin to for sure.
I don't even have a book bag. I don't have a book backpack. I don't have anything.
You did not even bring a backpack to school today.
I was like, I don't know when we came, guys.
Sarah just starts capping.
Someone made me
pen,
come here.
2 pens, cleaning up the quill, loading up the first notebook, the textbook,
Oh,
the
goodness.
subsequent notebook, the thesaurus that he has.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to find a bit of different music here for this. Sorry. As you all begin to shuffle, and says, "All right, students. You've done very well this semester. I can't wait to see you again after the summer break. We'll be going over the forming of the Constellar Court. Make sure to bring your sharpest minds and pens. Mr. I forget Gagnon's last name. God dang it.
Anderson. Gagnon Anderson. Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
I didn't know. We didn't know. I don't think we know his last name.
Great.
Let me look. Just a moment.
I don't think we know.
Is this one of those signal things? Is it canon now that it's Anderson?
Yeah.
Is that?
No, not Anderson. You have to come up with something different than that. Sure. Yeah, Mr. What is Gagnon's last name? Class?
Anderson.
Not.
Anderson.
Dwarf.
Gagnon McGagnon face.
Ganyondorf.
I mean, half the people in this call's last name is Stewart. His should be 2, right? Okay.
That's actually true.
That's wait. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, no,
Wow. But actually,
it's actually-
Shalar. I'm gonna submit Shalar as his last
I
name.
like
Gagnon
Shalar.
Shalar sounds good.
I'm
That
gonna
sounds like
submit
a-
Shalom.
Go ahead and provide the phonetic spelling of it, Cameron.
Yes, that would be SHALLAR.
All right, Gagnon Shalar.
AR apostrophe AR
He did not
AA
say
apostrophe hyphen
He didn't.
R.
He didn't say
No
any, all
hyphen,
those things that
no
your question
Mr.
didn't
Shalar, if
say.
you would please come and see me. Is,
Vezrin stiffens and looks up at Professor Oswald.
Yeah. Oleander is gonna wait at the door at the very least
Okay.
until.
Gagnon comes down, and as you all make a show of slowly leaving, Gagnon stands before. Professor Rosewood, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be late. I just tried to get my results from my last. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I wanted to say, good luck on your journeys ahead. This is my last class with you. I'm proud of you, son. You've improved a lot. Thank you, Professor Rosewood. I really appreciate that. Well, silly of me. go and enjoy your summer, boy. Thank you, sir. Yeah. All right, boy. Scannion heads to the door. The rest of you kind of crowd in and leave. So you head outside of the class. All of you leave the classroom and head out into the main quad, the courtyard here at the Luniversity. There are marble statues which are carved in upon arches which cross over this otherwise perfectly manicured grass, green space in the center. The sun of the sort of tropical heat bears down between intermittent big fluffy clouds. There's a slight breeze through the causeway as the students are let out. Yours seems to be probably one of very few courses that let out early. The quad is otherwise relatively empty. At this point, another gentleman, another student from the class begins to kind of antagonize Topharos from a distance. Says, "Hey, short stuff."
I turn to just look at him.
Where were you last week? I thought we were gonna play out at the yard.
I'm sorry, are you talking to me?
No, not.
I'm not
No,
sure
I-
who you think you're talking to.
No,
I'm
I think
talking
you
to
are.
I'm talking to Half Pint over here. Little piece of shit.
And
That's
It's
Oleander will
interesting
walk
that
up
you're
as well.
speaking.
That's
Yeah, I
a
can
pretty
fit-
ancestrally insensitive thing to say to somebody.
Come on, get back out of
Oh,
it.
So
Down
froze-
here.
Get off it, Pris.
Topharos
We all
just
know
starts
why you're
walking up
here.
to him.
You know, Topharos, we've had this for a while. Let's go ahead and settle this now.
I'm gonna take the book bag off and hand it to Sari.
You don't need to do this. They're not even worth it. Besides, we're
What
not
is-
even off school grounds. We have an
Is-
hour left.
It's not a matter of need. I would
I-
greatly like to
Allow me
hurt
to
him.
restate this in a more effective manner, I should say. Wait an hour so that you don't get expelled.
It wouldn't be as fun though.
You know what else is not
What's the
fun?
matter, Topharos? You got sand in your shoes?
At least he has shoes. Please wipe out of this.
And at this point, he goes to make another snide comment. As he walks forward, you hear almost out of nowhere just the pitter-patter of little feet. Pat, 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 pat. And then, very suddenly, a steel-toed boot comes right up between his legs from behind and slams him in the gonads as Evie comes jumping out of it.
You see, sometimes these things just work themselves out, Topharos.
He topples
And he hands back
over.
the bag.
And Evie gives him one kick in the gut just for good measure as she walks up. Hi, guys! And running behind her, having not realized that you were supposed to be sprinting until it was too late, comes Kijani.
Vesserin walks over to. Wait, sorry, who was this person?
This person's name is Dalian.
Dalian.
He's had a bit of a thing against Topharos for not being a native Astropolis citizen for a little
We're
while.
gonna murder him when we're adults.
Yeah.
We're gonna murder him when we're
Dalian.
adults.
Dalian,
Vesserin-
what's Downs' ancestry?
Dalian is human.
Vesserin walks
Human
over
bigot. Got it.
to Dalian, standing over him, and says, doesn't seem like you're saying much anymore, does it?
At this point, Evie bends down to get right up into his face, and she goes, "If you go after one of my friends one more time, I will turn you into a eunuch, you pitiful excuse for a crusty booger."
Jesus Christ.
Vesserin, Just like very subtly, like fist bumps Evie.
He
You
lets
raise
out
them.
he lets out a little whimper.
Kai walks up and just like fucking biggest high five possible. Good shit.
Jumps up, yeah.
At this point, Professor Oswalt, having cleared the class, is beginning to leave. He's got his like briefcase bag with him, and he comes out. And all of you have just enough time to notice that he's about to turn around from locking the door to like scramble.
Cheese it.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
gonna like wall.
And Ganion's like, "Whoa, let's go."
I think as they start to walk away, Evie's gonna take one of her knickknacks from her pockets
Mm-hmm.
and push a button, and as they're walking away, she's gonna kind of like really subtly try to drop it in his shirt, and it's gonna start getting really warm and really hot. And
Yeah.
they're just gonna go.
Make a thievery skill check for me.
Okay.
There's no sleight of hand in Pathfinder. All of that kind of pickpocket and reverse pickpocket is going to be under the thievery skill.
Okay.
Kind of manual dexterity.
Put pocket.
Put pocket, that's right.
I think it's going.
Awesome. Yeah, you absolutely managed to slip this into his like down. He's on the ground, so you like slip it down his sleeve. He
Yeah.
gets it, he's like, "Hoo, hoo, hoo, wah, ah, ah, hoo." He gets up, both clutching his balls and trying to get his shirt off at the same time,
That's right.
and kind of stumbling aside as the rest of you casually walk out of the courtyard. This is the
Evie
perfect
skips.
opportunity to introduce Genevieve Dubois, our youngest member of the group. In the world of Astropor, there are a group of people, a very, very small subset of people, who are born with the ability to, not the ability, are born outside of the Triska law. They aren't bound by the 3 laws that bind everybody else. They're called Hexalin because the pupils of their irises are hexagons instead of circles. They have the potential to grow up and become what is called a witness. It's kind of a civic duty, a position of authority within Astropor, where they will outlive all of their friends and family by hundreds and hundreds of years because they aren't bound by the order of measure. And it is their responsibility to provide insight and wisdom to the council, the Senate of Astropor, called the Constellar, with their kind of long distance view of history. Evie is a Hexalin, and as such has already kind of begun to feel the pressures of that potential position weighed upon her. And we will introduce our final compatriot, Kijani, one of the other younger members of our group, a Leshy, so a tree, a plant-like person. He would not have been in that course because he is much younger. He's in his kind of beginning courses here at class, but he is in this group of kids that call themselves the Disorderlies, kind of under Ganion's loose leadership. As you all kind of begin to make your way out of the courtyard, Ganion lifting up, putting his hands behind his back. So, guess who passed his Ancient VOC final exam?
I see a different student that's in the class that I know is in there with him. that definitely passed it.
Well, of course he did. God, he's been making A's all semester. No, me!
Oh, that's exciting too. I just wanted to be right.
You fuck.
Congratulations.
Fuck you.
Did you cheat?
No,
answer that
I
question.
didn't cheat. Our dearest
great.
veteran here has been helping me for a little while.
She's wonderful.
Well, friends, if you would gather round. I have a little bit of a gift for Saul for finishing this semester, and Sarah Jen will pull his backpack off his back and pull out several wrapped packages and goes, Ollie, for you, it's just a ham sandwich. I know it's your favorite.
I start to get upset, but you're not wrong.
And then you realize
I'm more mad about
love
that
a ham
than anything
sandwich.
else.
Tofaros, here's some special smoked jerky with gopher wood. I know you appreciate that specific flavor.
Better now.
Chunky, here's we had these special made for you. These are a select blend of grains held together by honey. I hope you would appreciate it. I've never given you it
Nature's
before.
own.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but I sound like, is that what granola? Okay.
Ganyan, I have a few small, and he pulls out like 3 or 4 small hard candy. They're equivalent of caramel.
Wow.
You know, I know you saw these the other week. And
Thanks for
I want you
that.
to appreciate those.
You're too kind.
Evie?
Sorry.
And he pulls out a small, it's almost like a leaf, and he unwraps it, and it's just very, very thin, very, very, several very, very, very thin chips of solidified honey. So they're just the sweetest thing ever. So here you go. It's
already all over her face.
Kajani, I have this I saw this in the market yesterday and I thought you'd love it. It is almost like a lei, but of like very bright orange and yellow flowers. And he just lays it over top of you. I think it would go well with everything that you have. And Vestrin, of course.
Pretty.
Absolutely. And Vestrin, of course, pulls out the brightest red apples. It's an apple, smaller than medium, but not small. Not too taut, and definitely not too sweet. Fresh and crisp, cooled in the morning. Just the way that you appreciate them.
Quickly
Thank you,
above
Sari.
table.
They're perfect.
Chokai, probably, I believe we discussed this. He probably goes by Kai for short.
Kai.
Correct.
Kai. Yep.
Good catch, Sidward.
I was
Kijani
wondering how
will-
you got just Kai from that.
Yeah. Well, some
Done.
people have been saying Choki. I think. So I
It's
just wanted to be-
Chokai.
Yeah, wanted to be clear. Kai for
Since
short.
we're in the process of giving gifts, I walk over to Ganyan, and because we're probably still in public, I open my bag very slow, like very little, and I reach into it and I try to very surreptitiously hand him may or may not be one of those really small bottles of Fireball that I have picked from my uncle's
Cabinet.
liquor cabinet.
Now that's a treat.
Here you go.
Thank you, Toffros.
What's that?
But special juice, Evie. Don't worry about it. It's really awful. It's actually medicine.
Oh.
Sarah rolls his eyes.
Tastes like fake cherry.
Are you not feeling okay?
I'll be feeling much better after the medicine.
Okay.
Vestrin kind of chuckles.
Well, as you all, I'm sure, have not forgotten, we still have a whole summer together. We're not saying goodbye yet. And I think I might have a job for us in a couple of days. Get a little scratch. But first, we can't forget Tovros, your uncle. He's having a zenith ceremony tomorrow, isn't he?
Tofro, whatever facial expression Tofros had that was mostly stoic, mildly happy about being out of class, like diminishes pretty immediately. Yes.
Oh, we've got to get ready for that. Have you got your paper and actually, I got something special for you. You're gonna love it. It's down at Nikoi's place, so we'll have to pick it up at some point. But
Say that name again.
Nikoi?
Thank you.
Yeah, above table. No, we'll wait till we get there. We'll have to go pick it up from Nikoi's place, but I think you're really gonna love this. Special delivery from Veonaya.
Okay.
Alright, well,
who in relation to Topros is dying? Not dying? Dying?
Uncle.
his uncle.
His current guardian.
Uncle.
His current
His
father.
I-
zenith ceremony is coming up.
Yep.
I
Zenith
literally
ceremony
have just
tomorrow.
forgotten what his name is. Atticus. there we go.
Atticus.
Atticus.
Oh, I was
Atticus.
definitely gonna say Ben. Good catch.
It is. He has a name. It's
Johnny
It's Atticus.
will, as he's done before, kind of climb up Ganyan's torso and like start using his arm as like a monkey bar like swing.
Ah,
What are we going to do now?
well, little one. I was thinking maybe we could get into a little trouble.
That sounds like fun.
What do you guys say we go down to the beach and look for bright scales? We could turn a pretty penny if we pull one.
There we go. There we go.
That sounds wonderful.
Yes, that sounds wonderful.
While we're down there, we can go by Nikoi's new place. He's just moved from High Street down into First K.
I'm sorry. What are we doing at Nikoi's place?
Oh, I ordered something special for Tofros'
Oh, right.
Uncle Zenith, and I thought we could pick it up.
Right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Spaced out a bit there.
All right, we better get going. We might miss the last. I'm blanking so hard. What is it called? A cable car? It's called a cable car. There's not a shorter word for that, right?
Streetcar.
Streetcar is the
Trolley.
No,
Yeah,
no,
those
it's
are-
on a cable, like ski slope.
Oh yeah, no, I
Oh.
think you're good.
Oh,
That's fine.
yeah.
No,
It's
you're
cable car.
definitely right. There is something.
Gondola.
There is something that's adequate. Gondola is also actually
Gondola was in the
one
water,
of the words. No, it also works for this.
Okay, great.
Okay.
We'll go with it.
But-
we better hurry. We're gonna miss the last gondola.
Well, let's
Um,
leave.
As
Vezrin
you all,
starts
Yep.
walking with purpose.
Yep.
Towards.
So you all begin to head out. You exit the university grounds. It's a beautiful campus. It's nestled in and amongst these massive mansion homes of the Ridgeline district, which is one of the wealthier districts in all of the Astropolis. It's home to many of the politicians and most successful merchant families, but it's also open during the day to the public as sort of like, not a tourist attraction, but it has many beautiful gardens and sculptures, and the vistas from the ridgeline of God's Eye Bay and the ocean beyond is just beautiful. So as you leave the school and you're walking down, sort of like, it's very similar geographically to like Amalfi. It's steep wooded hillsides, these kind of cut back roads which navigate the mountainous terrain. As you head kind of down a brief hill, and there is a cable system which is being powered by steam at this end, and from kind of the cleft, the platform where the cable cars begin to descend down into the main city of Astropolis, you're given this beautiful view looking out. So we'll actually use some Foundry and pull up the map here. I don't know how close I
Evie,
can get.
Evie. And Sarajan throws a wet towel at you.
Oh,
Your face is
it's
absolutely sticky.
everywhere.
You just please wipe your face.
I think I got it in my hair.
Yeah,
a
you
little
did.
bit.
But we'll get to that later. Just get the face.
So
Okay.
as we zoom in here, on the northern side of God's Eye Bay is the Ridgeline District up in this mountainous area, and it glides down the hill into the Astropolis. God's Eye Bay refers to this section, this alcove lagoon, in the middle of which there is this incredibly dense, dark, just drop off, this pit, probably from an ancient crater of some kind, that gives the impression of a massive eye staring up when seen from above, which is easy to do from the many mountainous areas around. And this choke, where the coastline comes together, is bedecked on either side with massive stone statues of many mythical creatures, sphinxes, but also dragons, giants, there are massive tortoises. And they just kind of like create these columns that are meant to kind of warn intruders, visitors, that you are entering the region of the Astropolis, the capital city of Astropor. So as you begin to climb onto the next car and ride down into the city, you see it sprawl out before you, a beautiful sprawling metropolis with these white stone buildings. Many of the newer structures are on a small hill just off the coast of the God's Eye Bay. That hill is crowned with these massive structures. It's called the Lumen City. It's the inner city, and it's where all the government buildings are, including the 3 marble spires of the Sphinxes and the Constellar Court, which is a domed building. The entire dome of the building is made of pink quartz. And it lets in this rose-colored light upon the Senate floor within. So the Lumen City is there before you, and as you descend, kind of scrolling down the hill, sprawling out as the city organically unfolds, you see actually the first district of Astropor, aptly named the First K, Quay, where the Weepers presumably landed to beg sanctuary of the Sphinxes. It's got older, more meandering streets, too narrow for carts in many cases, although there are a couple of very wide causeways that have been created for the purpose of trade from the docks up into the rest of the city. But it's kind of got this kind of built on top of itself sort of charm. And the First K is beyond, down past the K itself is the shining beach of God's Eye Bay, which itself is part of this larger region of the world, all up and down, called the Bright Scale Coast. You may or may not recall, one of the major exports of Astropor are these beautiful, massive opalescent scales, which are used in art and in armor, and they come from the opal koi, which occupy the bay here inside the spiral of Astropor. And they occasionally wash up on shore if you're lucky enough. It's almost like pearl diving, but they're more valuable, I guess, because they have the added benefit of being able to be used in armors. So as you guys, sorry I just dumped a lot on you, but as you ride down the gondolas and you land in the First K district, hopping off, there is a bustle all around. You're on a rather large street, and all up and down are street stalls, vendors, shops, above which are like small apartments and homes. You're in the First K district, so the buildings aren't even all necessarily straight. So they're so old that some of them are tilted and are built up at an angle, some leaning against one another. But as you land here in the courtyard, everyone make a perception check for me.
Perception.
Blind.
Thank you.
This can be public if you'd like. If you've already rolled a blind, no big deal. Hey.
Somebody got a 20. It was me. I literally didn't know that because I don't know the dice that I have set up yet.
Someone rolled a 20.
Someone's a big 20 roller. Yeah.
I think that I was already playing my distraction for this, like what I was doing instead of doing the correct thing. So now I'm drunk.
Let's see if I don't like this music. I'm not getting anything kind of upbeat. No. Stop that. Stop that. It's clear that this is a very high production quality show we put on here. There we go. Okay. Let's look at the rolls. Beautiful. beautiful, beautiful Kijani, Oleander, Vesrin. The three of you notice, kind of in unison, that there is a bit of a gap in the throng of people milling about in the square here at the base of the cable car. And as you look a little more closely, you see two individuals strolling through the streets that you recognize and know immediately. They are witnesses. So each of them is one of the 6 serving witnesses who is currently part of the greater Constellar, that are held in high regard. As I mentioned earlier, witnesses are outside of the Triskelaw, so they are expected to be the nation's experts on magic, and to advise on foreign policy with magic using nations and the like. The two that you recognize are the oldest witness, a grandmotherly figure with graying hair pulled back into a braid that comes down to her waist. She has a saggy face. She's human, but she is probably close to 500 years old. But her name is Ama Kodana. She has a crooked cane with a bulbous handle at the top. She is using, as she walks through, she's wearing kind of longer robes in a deep purple color with a silver kind of accent on it. And she is smiling. Even as you watch her, you see her reach into the folds of her fabric and bring out a couple of hard candies that she passes over to a couple of children who come a little bit too close. The children just don't know any better. Everyone else seems to be giving them a wide berth, like an air of deference and respect. But the children kind of run past. She hands them some candy. The other that
The
you see...
wrapper looks like a strawberry.
Yes. The wrapper looks just like a strawberry. The candy tastes nothing like strawberry. The other individual walking with them is a much younger elven man. He is called a Nomen Soldat. He is not the youngest witness, but the next youngest witness. So if you were to rank them all 1 to 6 acting as far as age, he's number 2 right now. He has a charming guile about him, a winning smile. He has kind of honey blonde hair. It's very wavy. He's pushed back up off his forehead, and he is wearing kind of this sky blue robes, and he is just waxing poetic about something you can't hear from here, as he's just droning on, presumably to Ama, who's supposed to be listening to him. It absolutely is not. He is just kind of talking, and he's whatever it is he's talking about, he's very enthusiastic about it. But as they're walking through the square, everyone else seems to be kind of like giving them a lot of space.
Sorry, what was his ancestry?
Elf?
He's an elf, yeah.
Okay.
You're muted, Mason.
There's Granny Ama. Is
nice,
she
so
not
it is.
retiring tomorrow?
That's an excellent observation, yes. As you may have been listening, may recall, I don't hold it against you if you don't, but Topheros's uncle, Atticus, has a twin who is a Hexalin, who is intending to take up the stole of becoming a witness. And so if his uncle is turning 100 tomorrow and having his zenith ceremony, his uncle's twin will become the youngest witness tomorrow as she takes up the stole, and the oldest witness will retire. As you mentioned, Kijani, the Ama, you notice like it's like a cat with her hair raised. Evie is like looking around really quickly.
Where are they? Shit, I don't
They're
have
just
my
outside.
right robes on or anything. This is so embarrassing.
Shh, it's okay.
Just stand here.
It's
You're
going
good.
to be okay.
No.
I bring her in like behind, but like still be able to watch. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were
Make a
Peeking out behind.
make a deception check.
For Oleander or for
One of
me?
you, and then one of you can make a check to aid if you'd like.
I'm better, I think.
Go for it.
Okay.
I was supposed to be blind. I'm sorry. Fuck.
Yeah. As they are walking by, you all are kind of like shuffling, trying to keep Evie out of sight.
Like, I'm also very clearly making a line for her to see still. Like, her face is very visible.
Your kind of unusual behavior catches their attention.
Of course.
As Noman Soldat turns to, our little flower, Genevieve! As she begins to walk forward. Amma
I do
catching
my
up
best to
behind
not
her.
chuckle. Hearing the name Genevieve
Hi,
said.
Witness Soldat. How are you today?
I am quite well. And how are you? Enjoying your studies? Today was the last day of class, was it not?
It's summer now. She also still has a
little bit
of
of
the
honey,
chips.
yeah.
Like, like she didn't quite get it even with Siri's help. So, yeah, today's the first day of summer. We're about to go head to the beach. What are you up to right now? She's like really struggling to do the social etiquette because she doesn't really care and she's not interested, but she knows that's what she's supposed to do.
Well, Witness Kodana and I were just making our way to the Constellar. There is a meeting today, just a small court meeting. Would you be welcome to join us if you'd like to stand in the back and watch? As Amma steps in front of him, hush that. She leans down. Oh, come here, dear. And she casts something similar to prestidigitation, and your face becomes clean. She's, and then she reaches into her pocket and pulls out another hard candy. And hands it to you. Noman, we really are in a hurry. Let's let poor Genevieve here enjoy her summertime festivities.
Thanks, Alma.
Oh, yes, I suppose. Don't waste these years, my dear. They go by too quickly. And all before you know it, you'll... Well, much to do. And he begins to turn away. Do take care of our little flower, he says, looking at all of you. Very intently.
I go to talk, but like don't because I'm nervous.
As they're
Witness.
walking away, Evie's gonna be like, "My name's Evie."
Yes,
They
Witness,
wouldn't
we are
talk-
always on the lookout for her.
Oh, I know that you are, Vesrin. So responsible. And Noman and Amma begin to walk away from the crowds.
At some point while they're still there, Oleander finds like a patch of like honey in his hair, and like
From her,
almost, almost goes to ask like, can you? He's just gonna he'll figure it out later.
Sorry, Oleander. I reached up. You had a bug in your hair, and I reached up to try and help with the bug.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's there now. We know where it is. It's fine. We don't need to worry about where. Yeah, I know where the bug is. Thanks.
I think
The
it's a
bug
good
is still
look
there.
for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Stuck in the honey.
Stuck in the honey, exactly.
You grabbed it all right.
I'm sorry.
They
stress
wouldn't
me
have
out
to go
every
by
time
so
you walk
fast.
by me.
Everybody make a perception check.
An additional one?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, a blind one?
Yeah, so unless I ask otherwise, generally it's going to be blind. You can set your default to be blind. If you'd
But
like,
if you're
or you can change it every
clicking
time.
the eye that's crossed out next to the die, it will
Got
just
it.
immediately do a blind one.
Got it.
That's true.
Oh,
Yes,
that
that
makes
symbol
way
means
more
you'll
sense.
roll
Okay.
it blind without asking for
I
permission.
wish there were more things that had that button next to it.
For sure.
Agreed. Fair.
Not everything's rolled blind. So like attack rolls are public. Pathfinder, when you do get into combat, it's very tactical. In Pathfinder, there is an expectation for table talk, so to speak. You need to be communicating with your team, even if your character wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to communicate with your team. Above table, you almost have to be talking about what
Hey,
you know about the
I am
enemies.
trying to give you this bonus.
Yeah, because
If you
there's a
get
lot.
here, you'll get it.
It's a tactical game that can be deadly,
Sweet.
especially level 0.
When we're not even proficient with weapons.
This was your second perception check? Okay.
Yes.
This time, the roles are quite reversed. Well, except for Kijani, who has a high wisdom. Kijani and Evie, you both notice that Ganyan bounced. And you can see him now. You catch a glimpse of him, his fiery red hair. He is talking to someone who you cannot see. It's behind a column, underneath like a arched causeway, some small distance away behind a cart selling shaved ice, lemon-flavored shaved ice. Behind the column, there's somebody that Ganyan's clearly talking to intently.
I'm gonna elbow Oleander and be like, "Who's he talking to? Who's that? What's going on? Can I have some shaved ice?"
Maybe in that last question. I don't know the others yet.
I shall go over and pull on
yes,
Vesrin's
no,
robes.
yeah.
Vesrin,
Yes.
who's that? Who's he talking to? Can we go get some shaved ice?
You know what, Evie? I think that's a great idea. Let's go over and get some shaved ice and find out who he's talking to.
She lights up.
And as you begin to wander over, Ganyan, his eyes dart up and he catches Vesrin's eye. He says, and then he says just like 2 or 3 more words, and then turns and comes out from under the shaded causeway to meet you guys, kind of halfway on the way to the shaved ice. Whoever it was, somehow they disappeared to the crowd. So, how was your meeting with the witnesses?
What was that about?
I told you we might have work in a couple of days. Just ironing out some details.
Well, we were actually interested in getting some shaved ice, so that's
Oh,
where Evie and I were
some-
walking over to.
3 copper per. Fucking scam it is. I see what I've got.
Please, Ganyan, it's
Ah,
really
alright.
hot outside.
Right, Evie, I see what I've got. God. I've got a gold, but if I break it, I'll have to go get more before we go to Nikoi's, because
I got it. It's fine.
okay.
Thanks, Oleander.
All right. You head up and get a couple of just one for Evie, or is anyone else getting shaved ice?
I go
probably not
I
getting
go
this for
thinking
Evie.
that, like, wait, hold on. Fuck, I realized what I just agreed to. He should have just used the gold. God damn it. And I have my allowance to pay enough to buy one for everybody, but that's my allowance. It's all of
I
it.
will decline shaved ice.
I've already bought it, though, by the time you decline it, so I'm insistent to take it. That was all my allowance. It doesn't matter. I don't care that you don't want it, man. I paid for it now, and
Okay.
you're gonna eat it and
8.
enjoy it.
I will eat it and enjoy it. Thank
You're
you.
serious. You
24
really
Oleander.
don't want it. I'll take it from
24
you.
No,
copper.
no. She doesn't need any more sweets. She's good.
24
Vesrin
copper later.
definitely didn't want the shaved ice, but takes it gracefully and
And
slowly just kind of like eats nibbles at it as we're
I'm
walking.
pretty sure Oleander knew that too, but also didn't know how to not buy it for them.
Buddy.
As soon as Oleander turns around and we start walking, Sarah Jim will initiate protocols to dump the ice from his cup into Evie's cup.
Okay.
This
It's like so it's like not even a cup. It's like that. It's a wax paper cone.
That
It's
paper
like
cone,
yeah.
real cheap.
It's the only way to have it.
That's right.
Like
Um,
a never-ending cup. It just keeps growing.
She
It's
just like
definitely-
attacks
it's,
the
like,
cone
dripping
and
down
the,
her arms at this
Yeah.
point.
she just like
all over.
shoves her face in the initial ice ball and then is sad that it's gone and then like looks over like it's like pouts and doesn't even notice certain put it in like and just like, oh, I am magic.
Great.
So, Kai will follow suit at some point as well.
All right.
Just funneling
Evie is
sugar into Evie.
hopped on sugar for sure. She is
This is
just
all
having the
Oleander-
best summer so
Oleander
far.
notices all of them and gets mad at all of them, but also
Wait,
isn't gonna say anything
did-
about any of them.
Did Ollie give get Kijani ice
I gave
thing?
Oh.
no because I know better. I did not buy him one because I know better. I
Okay.
bought him some sunlight.
Right.
I bought him some sunny tea.
Naturally, as one does. So, as you meander through the streets of First K, down kind of a narrow alley, the kind of wrought iron fences around the balconies on the several stories above, brightly colored shutters around the windows, ivy and plant life overgrowing out of window planter boxes. You stumble down the cobbled streets, and at the end of the street you can see it open up into the causeway that is the First K, the actual dock side, and it is a bustle of activity. The first thing that you notice as you come down, and Ganyan like almost gasps as he sees it, is there is a massive ship in the K, and it has what you and I, as like people who live on Earth, would recognize or think would be like a car finish. It's like metal, white paint, polished. Not all of the ship, but like the upper collar around the sort of railing. And you guys can make society checks for me. Topharos, you do not need to make a check.
Oh,
Is this
Do you want these blind?
Oh, they don't have to be, because one of your party already knows the answer, but just for fun.
Just to keep things.
Yeah.
In general.
We're practicing Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Where are we? Society starts here. Okay, Serdwin, for sure. Chokai, Vesrin, and Topharos. You recognize this ship. It is it's a ship that is in the Alabaster Fleet. It's an incredibly well-known mercenary privateer group that is well-known worldwide. Can be hired for any number of jobs at the right price, but they have basically their own naval army. It's the only mercenary guild or establishment on the globe that can compete at sea with some of the more powerful naval forces. But this is just one ship. Presumably has a number of their mercenary upon it. Ganyan sees it. Oh shit! Did you see that? That's a member of the Alabaster Fleet.
Sure is.
Wonder what they're here for.
Me too.
Wanna go find out? We shouldn't. do that.
Sometimes questions don't necessarily need to be answered.
Well, I guess we could go poke around. Can't hurt, right?
That's what I was thinking. Let's do it.
It very
It
much could hurt.
Unfortunately, I do agree with Vesserin on this point.
I mean, not getting too close.
Unfortunately.
You guys can keep watch then. If you don't want to go in.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be great. What are they gonna do? We're a bunch of kids. Who cares?
Yeah, you age out of that really
I've-
quick, mate.
A lot of people that actually care a lot about what happens.
They are sort of known to operate extra legally. Are you familiar with the term
Use the word
kidnapping?
X.
That's
I mean-
what could happen to kids.
That's a fair point.
Oh, you.
Don't treat me like I don't know.
Oh,
Well, how
actually,
do you
that's
do
fair.
something
Some of
more
you
legal
actually
than
would be pretty good targets
Look,
for
we're
that.
not going to get that close. We just want to
The
see if we can
preponderance of
hear-
evidence would suggest that you don't know.
You would be very surprised then.
You're 12. Shut up.
I'm 14, thank you.
I wasn't talking to you.
Oh, okay, great, thanks.
Yeah, I'll shut up. Let's go. As he begins to hurry down the hill. The ship is relatively close to the raised cobbled dock.
I'm just 13, just so you know, AJ.
Yeah, for sure. Does Topharos have anything to say?
he follows directly behind Ganyan and is actively looking. Is going to be actively looking for the person that he would know.
Okay. All right, boyos and girls. Let's do what you do best. Fan out, act natural, listen closely. Maybe we'll find out why they're here. And he instantly starts to blend into the crowd. He just like kind of falls in behind a couple of people and starts to get like kind of bedraggled, kind of weary look on his face. He's following these sailors. He's like, as if he's had a long day of sailing at the ripe age of 16.
Vezrin will walk, like almost strutting along the docks and picking up various things at like vendors and like
for sure.
looking at them and
There's
setting
a
them
plethora
down.
of these kind of like tent stalls of people who don't want to come all the way into the city to sell their wares. They just have like, they're only here for a couple days maybe. They just set up right here. Bye, Javis.
Goodbye.
I had to do a quick head count. There's so many of you.
The name pops up in the bottom left.
It's true.
It's gone now. I just watched you look over for it as it was gone.
But I'm trying to like eavesdrop on other shoppers, and I'm asking different vendors about the ship in the harbor.
Okay. Yeah. Make an. There's a check for this. There's an activity for this.
Oh, that's a whole other thing we should talk about too, in terms of so. Go to the tab.
Your actions, yes.
Yeah. That's the. It looks like a baseball. It's third base. Go to third base.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Unarmed strike.
That's all you have on there.
Yeah, so
I have
on your actions tab, yeah, that's true. On your actions tab, there's 3 additional tabs right below that. Encounter,
There.
exploration, and downtime.
2 additional tabs.
Yes, that's what I said. And so if you click over to exploration, that should be empty, obviously. But if you click
is.
the magnifying glass for browse, you'll see all of the general exploration abilities in the game.
Just
Oh my
pull them in.
Don't worry too much about all of these, but about midway down, there's one called Gather Information.
I see it.
And this
But
is gonna
also,
be,
like, go ahead and pull them all in.
you could just grab them all, yeah. You just get, I think you can
Well, okay.
import all.
Some of them you don't need. I definitely don't need Call Companion or Bar Arcane
Right.
Spell. I'm realizing now that some of these you can actually probably figure out which ones you don't need.
I'm just gonna search for them whenever I need one.
Yeah, there you go.
And
So
that-
gather
that will-
information. You canvass local markets, taverns, and gathering places in an attempt to learn about a specific individual or topic. The GM determines the DC, and you make a diplomacy check. The amount of time it
Okay.
takes is usually 2 hours, sometimes more. And along with any other benefits you might be able to gain by spending coin or bribes, drinks, or gifts. So in this case, slightly modified from this, it's going to be like a 10 to 15 minute activity as you guys kind of fan out and do this. So are any of you trained in diplomacy?
I am.
Wait, I think so. Hold on. Yes.
The kind of information, like the degree of information that you might be able to gather, is going to depend upon your, if you succeed on the check, the information might change depending on your proficiency level. So, great, good to know. Glad we looked that up.
We're all just trained at best.
At best, you're trained. Correct. Vesrin goes and starts meandering through the markets. Anyone else want to participate in Ganyan's little game?
yes. I'm gonna look for like a mark. Like I'm gonna look for like a specific. Like I'm gonna try to find like somebody that I could talk to. It just says like like as one of these sailors who I could maybe talk to.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna try to focus in on somebody in particular.
Okay, for sure. I will get to that in just a minute.
Yeah, I'm just giving you.
Anyone
Chavis
else?
lost internet, by the way. That's where he went.
No.
I would like to just kind of go and like stand on like a busy corner near where like the main kind of pier like intake is,
Mm-hmm.
and just pay attention. Just like hang out, just like stoically looking around.
All right, perfect.
Did I've actively forgotten this person's name?
I don't know the way he named him.
We did name him, or he at least his last. I know that he is. I know where he's from.
Yes.
And I know
also
what
know where
I
he's
know what
from.
he is, but I can't for the life of me remember his if he
Hold
has
on,
a
I'll
name.
Kyle.
consult my
Sorry, what name? What person?
someone from Tofros' backstory.
The person that they hinted at being a person, but they've not actually said. His name's Kyle.
I agree.
Okay.
His name's Gaswanu.
Damn,
That's not okay.
I was close.
That is very close to Kyle.
And he's a human.
He is a
Look, if he's human, I'll take Kyle being close.
he is a Vanara. I couldn't remember the name. He's Vanara.
You're right. Yeah, okay. Which
Or the
Should
layman.
be easy, relatively easy to pick out then, right?
What does that
Should
mean?
be. Vanara.
Banaran.
Vanara
The-
are a
the
race of
monkey
people.
people?
Yes, a simian race of people.
Got it.
Just to drop this bit of lore specific to Mythonos, no expectation for you to necessarily memorize this, but Vanarans and Nagaji, the half-serpent folk, are incredibly rare in Astropor. They're incredibly common in Veonaya, as those were the oldest race of beings that the Veosi began to basically breed and keep as slaves. Before they started experimenting on them and ultimately generating other races and experimenting on other races and enslaving them as well. But the ape folk, the simian Vanara, and the serpent-like folk, the Nagaji, are much more heavily located in Veonaya in the Himamkara Mountains and represent a larger portion of the population over there.
That'd be. I'm actively looking for him.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and make. You're not necessarily gathering information. You are seeking. So go ahead and make a perception
Yeah.
check for me. Chokai, you can make the diplomacy check that Vesrin made to gather information, and Evie, Ollie.
Hold on.
Okay.
Did we talk about this and I have to be trained in this to partake?
No, you can do it.
Okay.
You can do it untrained. You just won't get as good information if you succeed.
Works for me.
Evie, Ollie, and Kajani.
I think Evie, when everyone started to fan out, I think Evie would have wanted to go, but the talk of kidnapping kind of scared her a little bit.
Mm.
So she's gonna look over at Kajani and be like, do you want to team up and go shopping?
Is this one of those times that going shopping does not mean going shopping?
Well, I don't know. They talked about kidnapping, and as the littlest ones, I feel like we should band together because we're much tougher when we're together.
Right. We are tough.
We are so tough.
Okay. Kidani will like walk over and
Yeah.
grab her hand and
Just
just
like
Okay.
start traipsing off.
swing his
Perfect. And then, so Ollie, you walk up to kind of the dock, the gangplank for.
Yeah,
The
I
alabaster.
look for a mark.
There is a gentleman here. He's got a cloak around him. It's kind of a navy blue, and he has a lute. He is tuning. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. He looks like a knowledgeable individual. So you walk up and start to make chatter with him. Hey, John's back.
I
You
Hi.
Hello.
Hi,
sorry.
Twitch. You quickly realize
Hi, Twitch.
he has a tattoo of an albatross on his neck, and underneath the cloak he is wearing a scale mail shirt made up of bright scales. the opal koi, which is incredibly
I do my best to not
valuable.
notice it visually, but definitely linger too long on it.
There's no way he's just a minstrel sitting here on the side of the dock with this, with these kinds of trappings underneath his cloak, even as he like tunes his lute. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding.
I'll walk
Ding,
up
ding,
like,
ding.
oh, are you gonna play something?
I thought I might. Are you a musician, boy?
Not really. I appreciate it, but
A sailor, perhaps? The Alabaster
No.
Fleet is always looking for recruits.
no. I my family raises Terravis birds, so I'm
Oh.
more land based. But I always loved the stories of anyone traveling. It's always pretty cool, especially.
Well, I will regale you with a tale. He strums and begins to sing a somber song, which I'm going to steal from a really excellent sea shanty band called the Longest Johns. He begins to sing a song called Bones in the Ocean, about losing your comrades at sea and wondering if their spirits lost beneath the waves ever think of him fondly, feeling guilty that he was the one who survived. You don't feel as though you're kind of enraptured by the story, by the song, by the tale, and you're kind of in your feels on accident all of a sudden. You don't feel like you're gonna get anything from this guy. Quickly hopping over to Vestrin, with a 19 in diplomacy. You begin to just kind of eavesdrop as you pretend to peruse the wares, and you do hear another individual, this one much less regally attired, but still has an albatross tattoo on his neck. He's kind of a very tan individual with curly black hair and a thin mustache. He's talking to the shopkeep. Well, of course, we are only here for a couple of days, and we really have to get back to Veonaya. That's where our mark is, but given the safe passage in Astropor, we could not help but to stop and make trade. You have such beautiful wares.
Oh, you're too kind, sir, yes.
Chakai, you don't hear too much. You do hear that similarly, you hear that the Alabaster Fleet ship is only due to be in Astroport for a handful of days. It's not a long-term visit. Tophoros.
Yes.
You do not see any sign of anyone that you might already be familiar with amongst the crew.
Oh, I don't see. I will go try to locate Ganyan.
Yeah. As you about 15-20 minutes pass, as you all kind of reconvene, Sari decided to hang back and watch over the littles, as they seemed a little nervous about getting too close to the mercenary ship, and so he decided to kind of like hang back with them. As you all kind of reconvene,
Miss Mary Mac, all dressed in fact.
Ganyan approaches you guys. You're all kind of clustered under a bit of an awning for like a coffee shop that's not doing really well right now. It's no business because it's like stupid hot in the middle of the afternoon. You kind of gather under the awning, and he walks up frustrated. Nothing juicy. Did you guys get anything?
I almost got recruited.
You're serious?
Yeah, no.
That's pretty cool.
No, there was he wasn't a minstrel. I know that, but he was also really good at playing the lute. But his armor was too nice. There's something going on. Grayscale.
Oh wow.
A lot of it. Like his armor was scale. Like it was bright
Well, he had to have gotten that here.
scale armor. But also, no, yeah, his music was good. I didn't cry.
No, of course not. Of course not. That'd be silly. It's just over a song or something. It'd be weird.
Shut up.
I overheard some gentlemen with an albatross tattoo saying that they are meant to be heading on in the next couple of days back to Vayanaya.
Of course
they're
they
just
are.
here for trading.
Yeah. He's saying
I
that too.
also heard that, so
Well, I was hoping it was something like, I don't know, prisoner exchange or something juicy. But I didn't get shite.
it's never anything good.
Never is. Good work, team.
How do you do a prisoner exchange in a land where you can't detain anyone?
Well, this is a great place to set him free.
That's a good question. I guess you've never seen the prisons here. I mean, I hope not.
Listen,
So the Triska law protects you from being detained by rope or by chain or by manacle or any other physical restraint. Those would magically snap if you were to push your will against them. It's one of the ways that the Sphinxes protect us. But in cases when we do need to detain people, as I'm sure Ceridwen could tell you, civic guards can detain people all day long with their fucking muscles.
yes, not all prisons have bars either.
No, that's very true.
You could impose financial restraints on someone that would contain them to certain places, restrict them from others you might not want them to be.
Also, school feels like a prison sometimes.
That's right.
The real
astute
prison,
observation.
That's what
young
we call-
Evie,
It's
is
called the
not
chains
going
of
to school.
society.
Yeah, societal pressure is quite a prison.
That was deep.
Or it can be quite the game to play, as it were.
You guys have clearly paid too much attention in class.
I was going to jump on you and show you that I could restrain you, but I chose not to. So, there's me.
I like that you assume I learned that through class.
Where else would you have learned it?
Nowhere.
Oh.
I don't know why I'm uncomfortable, but I am.
Evie's like looking between the two, like,
I
What's
know
happening?
exactly why I'm uncomfortable.
Right.
I agree.
Let's
It's
go see
okay.
Nikoi.
Let's do that thing. Yeah.
yes, Nikoi.
Distractions. Let's go.
As you all begin to walk away and head down the lane, you get kind of near the end of the dockside, but still very much in front of the docks. It's not so far out of the way. There's a very old, nearly dilapidated building. Looks like it might, at the tiniest shake of tectonic shift, fall right into the bay. It's not a very tall building, but out front there is a freshly painted sign that says Nikoi's Wonders. There's a bit of a step down, 3 stairs down into the front entrance of this shop. It's been here so long that the rest of the city has grown too tall for the original building. You see this a lot in Chicago and New York. You have to step down because over time everything's kind of built up around it. And you head into a really small, dingy little shop. There's stuff hanging from the rafters. There's bottles in rows along one side of the room. And you guys know Nikoi is ostensibly a merchant of magical items that have come by trade to Astropor. But also he's an alchemist, so he kind of toes that legal line between magic and what is permissible to the court and what is not permissible for the Triska law. It's all technically legal, but he's using alchemy to kind of emulate magic in a lot of ways. He doesn't make potions per se, but can make like elixirs and tinctures that are all purely chemical, but made out of like magical substances. So it is very much on the line. He's kind of always on the radar of the local police force. And that's also because you all know he is a well-renowned fence for actual illegal activity in the city. As you walk in, Nikoi is a Nagaji. He is a serpent folk. Very uncommon in Astropor. Even the most liberally minded, open-minded folks in Astropor have a little bit of racism around Vanara and Nagaji, the monkey folk and the serpent folk, because they're not very common and they have a strong correlation with Veonaya. But as you walk in, Nikoi immediately recognizes you. You don't know exactly how Ganyan knows Nikoi, but you guys have been around a number of times before to trade away your coin that you might have earned from little jobs working with Ganyan to get, fun potions that might, turn your hair blue or other like prank stuff. Nothing super dangerous or anything like that for the most part. Or like what would be like flashlights, like a flash stick. It's an iron rod that glows brightly in one direction until it expires. It's just mostly a phosphorus reaction, but it's
or like just a glow stick.
Yeah. As you walk in, Nikoi, my friends, welcome back to Nikoi's Wonders. Ganyan, my boy, I bet you are looking to pick up that package we discussed, no? Haha, Nikoi, you old rat. Have you been? Pretty good. Do you like the new digs? Much better than my old place, yes? Well, it's, closer. It's closer than your old place, yeah. You little fucker. Yeah, come on in. I'll see if I can get your package. You lot, I suppose you're looking for something to burn some coin on. If you want to check out my wares, all the fun stuff is down in the basement. You just head back there, and then through those double doors, you'll see a little ladder. Try not to touch anything. Some of it's quite explosive. Ganyan, with me, my boy. As they begin to wander off to an area of the shop, the rest of you are left to kind of meander about and look around.
Fezrin goes right for the basement.
Okay.
Is there I need to get some honey out of my hair. Is there a place that I can give some water run?
BRB, hold on.
Oh, is that a thing that is possible? The running water, is that even a feasible thing for me to ask?
Running water?
Yes.
You mean is there plumbing? Yes.
Yeah. Just need to clean. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Yeah. I'll also try to probably sneak out and be semi-interested in what they're talking about instead of the wares.
He was gonna be like, I'm really sorry. Don't forget about the bug in your hair too. I think she and Kijani are still holding hands and hanging out. Kijani, do you want to go look at some stuff?
I am looking at stuff right now.
I forget how literal you are sometimes, but that's a great quality to have.
Okay. You seem like you want to go somewhere specific. I am at your leisure.
Well, I don't know about specific, but Vesperin went to the basement, and I feel like that's a really good idea, so maybe we should also go to the basement.
Okay. And he will start walking towards the basement with you in tow.
Sarah will follow the small ones to the basement.
All right. Okay. Sure. As all of you head down, back to the small, kind of like making your way past all these cabinets and things, and then down a short flight of wooden stairs into a large stone basement, which is decked all around with bookshelves upon which sit all number of little fascinating baubles. Chokai and Ollie. More specifically, what are you, and Topharos, what are you up to?
I think I went downstairs.
Okay.
I think that I'm going to try to eavesdrop, but like if it seems like I can't do it, if I can't do it, if they might see me at all, I won't. I'll abandon that thought.
Okay.
If it doesn't seem like I can do it, because they did definitely pull up to the side, and I don't want them to not trust me.
Yeah. It's a small shop.
Yeah, I'll go downstairs.
So it's hard not to, especially with everyone else walking downstairs. It's hard not to look weird not doing that.
I'll go to go to the bathroom. Okay, I'll go downstairs last.
Okay.
I guess.
If you go downstairs last, you see Nikoi sitting at his like pawn shop desk covered with like knickknacks and things, and Ganyan on the other side just kind of like trying to negotiate this price. There is a stack of 3 flat square parcels all wrapped in brown paper in front of him, like maybe a little bit larger than a coaster, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But flat and square.
Not an envelope, but some kind
No,
of
not that flat. Maybe an inch tall. Kai, you're following suit?
Yeah, I'm going down.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. As you all head down and begin to look around, there's a rug on the floor, and as you all are beginning to look around, Kijani, you slightly trip over the rug and pull it back on a corner. And there, exposed on the floor, is a barely visible sigil inlaid in copper in the basement floor.
I'm gonna bend down and see if I can pick it up.
It is inlaid. As you bend down to touch it, it you wipe the dust away.
He looks up, looking immediately for Topharos, and then sees Vezran first and goes,
Hey, Vezran. You know things. What is this?
What's what?
and I'm gonna point at the sigil on the floor.
Vezran kind of rushes over, in sort of a excitement getting the better of her. It's something new to learn about. And pulls back the rug farther so that she could see the sigil in its
And
entirety.
it's clear this rug has been here for decades. The dust that plumes up as you pull it up makes you cough. And as you look down, there is inlaid in copper a hexagon with lines that connect the points. And as Evie looks down, her face goes blank. All of you turn to Evie as she looks pallid and pale. Her irises expand, and lines of bright glowing light cross the points of her hexagonal irises. And the hex begins to glow a warm cherry color as if the copper were being heated. And there's just almost no opportunity to react. Suddenly the room is gone. You're standing on the same stone floor, but all around you are walls of rough, natural cavern stone. It is dark.
What is this? What is this? What is this? Where?
Sarajin
Evie.
reaches out for Evie, or Kajani, or both.
Evie, where did you take us?
Evie's
Fine.
Kijani
blank.
is still holding Evie's hand. And like reaches out for Sarajin so that he's holding like both their hands.
It's darkness, not dim. Correct.
It's dim. There's a little bit of a glow from the symbol, the sigil on the floor. That
So
still shows.
I vaguely can see people, and
Yeah,
I like.
those of you who have low light vision, if you're an elf, or if you have low light vision, you can see the natural cave walls. They're slightly moist, and there's a tunnel that leads out of this room. A single exit.
Vezrin immediately drops down to like look Evie like eye to eye and try to like snap her out of it.
She still has these like bright lines of like laser light, white, that just cross between the vertices of the hexagon in her irises.
Have
It-
I ever
it
read
gives the
anything
illusion-
about any of this?
No. It gives the illusion of looking at a cube
She's got Tesseract eyes.
point first. Does that make sense?
I walk over and like just touch like that's you have
Like
her-
how this looks like a hexagon.
Yeah.
Those are the lines that are
Oh, I see. Okay.
drawn.
I gotcha. Okay.
you have her, right?
I mean, she's right here, but she's
Okay.
not responsive.
Yeah, I can't deal with that. I can find out where we're at though, and Ollie will start to walk around and move towards the mouth of the tunnel.
The tunnel is long and winded, or at least long enough that you can't see where it births beyond.
Yeah, I won't go too far without
hmm
coming back.
It is cold. You're all dressed for. You're all dressed for tropics. It's quite chilly.
What did this?
Will, you can't look away from your microphone if you're trying to roleplay,
Sorry,
because we
I keep
cannot
reminding
hear you when
I keep
you do that.
Let's just move it closer.
Is that the only exit to this chamber? Is just
It
the
appears to be
tunnel?
The only exit is the tunnel. Yes.
I look. Is there anything on the ground? Like
There is a copper inlay that matches that hexagon with the 3 lines. That makes it look like you're staring at a
Is there any
wireframe
text?
cube. No text.
I would like to get closer to the hexagon and try to touch it, unless it feels extremely hot.
It does feel extremely hot. You can feel the heat radiating off of it. It's the only source of warmth in the room. And it still has a kind of cherry glow.
Okay.
I'm not one to say things out of hand, but this feels like a trap.
I think we need to move. Anyone else?
Okay.
We should do
Well,
something.
moving
but...
is definitely a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Is Gannon with us?
No, he's upstairs.
Vezrin
Alright.
grabs Evie's hand and starts walking towards the tunnel.
Okay. Evie stumbles along behind you as you guide
We're a
her.
chain of 4 now.
Yeah, and as you exit into the tunnel, she like and collapses.
Eleanor will pick her up.
She's asleep. She's breathing deeply.
Okay. She's.
Her eyes have closed.
Mm.
As her eyes shut, the only source of light, the dimly glowing copper hex, dims, cools, and it is truly dark.
Oh my god. Okay. She's alive. She's asleep.
she's alive.
Okay, but now we're in total darkness and none of us can see anything. Can
Yep.
any of us see anything?
I can see the outline of the hallway. Just the outline.
Yeah, we should just get out of here. Try to.
I agree.
Sorry, what did you say, Tovaros?
I agree. We need to get out of here.
All
Does
right then.
Anybody
Yes.
have?
I don't have anything, but I do have this. We know there's a tunnel. We know which way we came. Everyone puts your right hand on the wall, and we walk slowly.
Who's carrying
Someone,
Evie?
I am. Someone take your left hand and hold on to my shirt. I think that I can follow you, but still, just to make sure that I'm connected to somebody, it'd be better. Because I won't take. I have her.
Okay. As you all begin to make your way slowly through the chamber, it is not too long before there is a light from around a bend at the end. It is a shifting light of deep blue and turquoise. And as you turn the corner, you are looking at a long, narrow hallway with polished marble floors and polished marble walls. The ceiling of this room is water. Not a pane of glass upon which water is sitting. Water is being somehow suspended above this room, or perhaps the air is being somehow prevented from escaping. But in either event, the water is flowing and shifting above, and very, very distantly, some sort of sunlight is peeking through fathoms of turquoise tropical water and casting a lattice work of shifting water light onto the floor. At the end of the chamber, you see two things at once. The first is a floating crystal cube, arranged such that as you stare at it, it appears from this perspective to be hexagonal, the outline of it. It is sort of milky amethyst in color, and the faces of the cube are slightly sunken, like it were gaunt or undernourished somehow, though its edges are sharp. Each point of the cube is polished into a flat surface, a flat triangular surface. In the cube's side, there is a gash, a fracture, which cleaves all the way to the center of the cube, but it's not, the crystal is not broken, it's just a broken piece that looks like maybe someone took a massive axe and just clove into the crystal. It floats, suspended by nothing, and has a very dim glow to it. Beyond the cube, resting on a raised platform, wearing very faded, dusty robes, is a Venara, a Simian folk. He must be ancient, gray. No, not a bit of him is not gray and worn. His face is gaunt. He may as well be mummified. No movement, no activity at all. But you do see across his chest, from the same direction, from the left-hand side, as if someone had taken an axe to him, there is a massive gash in his robes, and his bones are exposed, and his organs, which are dried but somehow preserved. Some of his bones are cracked from this gash across his body, and you can see straight through basically his shoulder behind him, as all of the muscles have become beef jerky, and he is just basically mummified, but his injury perfectly mirrors that of the cube. As you all walk in, there is your footfalls on the marble sound offensive to you, as if this place has not had a single sound interrupt this silence for thousands of years.
You said the Venara is floating, or is he
He's
sitting?
resting cross-legged, in a meditative stance.
Okay.
I do my best to make sure that even if she were to wake up, that Evie wouldn't like wake up and look at this.
Okay.
And what just like for setting reason, what's our usual disorderly's conduct, like our endeavors? What do they look like? How weird is this for us? I guess is what I'm asking.
Oh, this is incredibly weird.
I have figured
your
that.
normal activity is much more similar to what you guys did with the Alabaster Fleet. Fan out, get information, report back to some unknown contact that Ganyan knows, get paid. Not a lot, but spending money. You know for a fact that the Disorderlies are some crime organization's eyes and ears in the city. You've never seen any harm in it because typically the kind of information you collect is not secret. It's not privileged information. It's just that only a group of kids running around the city could get it that quickly. You're in the perfect position to kind of gather that information. So what you do for Ganyan and whatever organization he works for isn't illegal in and of itself, and that's why it's kind of a game. It's a fun thing that you do, and it's profitable, but it's not supernatural. Remember that in Astropor, magic exists, and like to the extent that the very wealthy have things like refrigerators and scrying orbs to see far away. But humans can't cast spells. I should say mortals can't cast spells. It's against the Triska law. It's not just illegal, it's impossible. So this sort of thing it's as startling to you as it would be to you.
As we walk in, Sarajin will step next to Vestrin and say, Vestrin, is it me? Or would you also say that if one were to be inside of the God's Eye...
I was just thinking the same thing. That it would look remarkably like this.
And have something like this in the middle, and also we should definitely not be here.
I completely agree, but I don't know how to escape. That seems like a very, very long swim.
People who were unconscious cannot swim.
Good job, Oleander. I agree with you.
Kijani's gonna start walking towards the cube.
Your powers of observation continue to serve you well.
Okay, Kijani, as you walk forward,
Sarajin rushes after Kijani.
There is a sense of awe that overcomes both of you as you approach.
It is very big.
You begin to wonder if it's something about the cube itself, or if it's something about this experience itself naturally, or if there's some compulsion to the cube. There is an extreme curiosity that overcomes you as you approach, as you feel as though the cube is calling out to you in a way.
Vestrin says, "Oh, bollocks," and chases after the two of them to try to catch Kijani as well.
And as you do, you two wind up standing next to them, staring up at the cube. As you get closer, you can see there is a little rune on each of the flattened... Basically, if you took the corners of a cube and sanded them down into a flat triangle, there's a little rune on each one. And as you approach the cube, it begins to rotate. you're able to see each corner of the cube. Here are the runes upon them. One is a series of, looks like pebbles. 3 pebbles, kind of various sizes, joined together. One corner. Oh, and you instinctively, as you see this, it's almost like telepathic. You understand this to be fundamental. It represents mass, matter, physical things. As it rotates, you see another corner. There is a sigil of a flame for heat. The symbol, this cube continues to turn. You see a symbol of a sun for light. As it rotates, there's a sigil of a bar, like just a simple line, but around it are these orbital lines drawn. And this would be for magnetism. The next symbol looks like a sink well. It's the classic sort of physics symbol for gravity. The next symbol is an hourglass.
Oh, Sid, hold on one second. I'm sorry. Say
I'm
the
gonna
last
give all
thing you
these
said
for you
before-
again, but yes.
Okay.
The next symbol is like a what's it called? Like a
You didn't say what hourglass was.
Time, I'm
time.
assuming.
Yes.
Okay.
There's like a measurement, like you would see on a map, the tick marks in a line for space.
Legend.
A legend, yes, thank you. And the final corner turns, and you can see a symbol that looks like a connected web of neurons, and you instinctively know that this represents consciousness, the mind. So the cube has these 8 points, 8 corners, and they are matter, heat, light, electromagnetism, gravity, time, space, and consciousness. In the very center, the vertex, the very center of the cube, kind of embedded, there is a final node that is it's kind of obscured. You can't see what it looks like. Even as you try and peer through the crystal as it rotates, the image won't resolve. It's kind of shifting. But you instinctively know that it symbolizes life. And it is in this moment that you realize you are staring at the only known corpse of a Veo. The original godlike beings that ruled over Mythonos and shaped the world.
You're not supposed to be here.
Each of you kind of has that fundamental understanding as you approach the cube. Except for Evie.
You know, and I will say, like, I kind of watched them do that. I feel like Oleander either closes his eyes to approach or turns around and walks backwards to approach because he doesn't quite understand what's going on. He doesn't. He might miss out on the realization because he's worried about what's going on. Like, maybe she needs to be in here too, but I don't want to do that.
Kijani is going to walk over to the body.
Okay. So you approach the meditative... Wait, the cube or the simian?
The body, the simian.
The Venara?
The corpse. The mummy.
Yeah.
So the corpse itself is a veil, right?
The cube, the crystal
The
cube,
cube, yeah, is Veo.
is a corpse of a Veo. Yeah, I have mentioned this before. I'll say again. The Veo were an inorganic crystalline life form.
Mhm,
They
okay.
did not have.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were the Leorn.
They looked like this. Although no one's ever documented what they looked like because they erased their own history when they vanished, leaving nothing behind. So no one knows what they actually looked like. People knew kind of what they were like because the slaves who survived them had oral histories they passed down, eventually learned to write and make records. But at some point, some thousands of years ago, as I mentioned, they just up and vanished, leaving the entire planet. Every one of them in simultaneity. And that's what caused the chaos of the world-breaking wars.
Vesrin will try to grab Kijani's hand and stop him from approaching the corpse.
Okay. Yeah, the corpse on the mummy, the meditating mummified body.
Yeah, sorry.
Is on the far side of the cube on a pedestal. So you have to walk around the cube to get there anyway. So as you reach out, Kijani, you notice Vesrin trying to hold you back. She looks concerned.
Kijani kind of gives a weird, like, tilt and looks and goes. He looks like he is very peaceful. I wonder if he had a name. Do you think he has a name?
Vesrin is so completely caught off guard by that question.
Sure.
And she says, I suppose so, but I think it's been lost to time.
You do not want to ask him?
It doesn't seem to be in a state which he could answer us.
Are you guys like
I don't
whispering
know.
to each other, or are you?
No, I'm
There
just
is no
normal
whispering in this
conversation.
chamber, which is otherwise absolutely silent. The most silent place you've ever been.
Okay.
Whispers carry like screams.
I guess I'll turn towards him and in a bit of a concession rather than getting any closer, I'll be like, hello.
Vesrin like stiffens up.
My name is Kijani.
Surgeon snaps out of the awe.
These are my friends.
I will go approach where Kijani is because
Okay.
out of concern for her well-being in case something goes down. Yeah, definitely.
The ancient
moving, okay.
mummified lungs draw breath.
Kijani looks back at Bezrin like, see?
Past monkey-like fangs as the mouth opens.
Leander's back.
Oh shit.
Surgeon steps
We need to go.
forward.
In a creaky, tired, dry voice, it says in ancient Vaosi, which Vesrin knows because she's been tutoring Ganyan.
That's right.
And some of you may know pieces of as well. This is like if you grew up in Ireland, you might know some Welsh sort of situation. But like you would have to really study it to be fluent, but you might recognize common words. But it says, only 7. There should be 9 to take up the watch. To hold the mantle. You are not enough of you.
Surgeon looks to Vesrin.
I'm sorry. He says there isn't enough of us. There's only 7 of us. There's supposed to be 9 to take up the watch.
Like the 9, wrong character. Like the 9 Weepers or something.
That's
He switches at this point to common. Weepers. What
Oh
is a
no,
weeper?
I don't know past. I don't know past that because I did not remember. I wasn't listening.
Vezrin in ancient VOC attempts to relay the story up to this point as we know it in terms of the founding of
Yeah.
Astropor.
Your VOC is fine. As you continue through it, the
You gave an
Fury
average
builds.
description the last time in common, so you
Yeah.
give an average.
An
you-
even slightly
you're able to do
below
an
average description
yeah.
in a language that is not your first. A fury begins to build in him. Weepers, beggars. We are not weepers.
Johnny.
We are shapers, builders, destroyers of the old gods. And you must take up
Get
the
back.
watch.
What?
I'm so
Get-
What do we
tired.
want?
Back.
Apologies. What are you watching for?
I can hold it no longer. Why should I have to? And from him, a bright collar appears of light, and it appears to have on it, within the other runes, the symbol for the electromagnetism from the cube, and the cube corresponds and has a bright flash. And the man just shuts down and grows quiet.
I have ducked and anticipated for an explosion, and will wait for upwards of a minute
Okay.
for it to not happen. Because really, Sid just sold me on that was what was happening just now, and I was wrong.
So there's just this like halo of light hanging in the air.
There appears to be around his neck, like a choker collar in bright runes, of kind of this vibrant yellow color, and it seems to have sort of an elemental tone of electricity.
Okay.
And it just flashes every now and again, but then it grows dim and expires as well as he rests. The cube continues to rotate. Who would you say is closest to the cube at this moment? Kijani?
Probably me.
Probably, yeah.
Is the cube?
Yeah, if he didn't respond to him being asked to leave, then yeah, probably.
The cube rotates quickly, and then one of the corners turns and faces directly at you and stops. Mason, which of the fundamental elements of reality do you think the cube chooses for you?
Hey Jerry, can you post those somewhere?
They're already
They're in the
in there.
Discord.
Okay, sorry, I don't have Discord open usually when I'm in games, so I don't ever notice when we.
Man.
No pressure. Only setting the tone for the entire campaign.
So I think it like does like a dice roll effect where like it
Would you
comes
prefer to
around
roll a
and it
die?
tumbles and no, I've chosen.
Okay.
And it tumbles and it looks like it might land on whatever would correspond to life, the middle one, but then an actual corner points to Kijani, which is the sunlight.
Light. Okay.
Yep.
As you stand there, you reach up and feel your neck, and there is it's growing warmer and warmer, and suddenly a choker collar in bright luminescent light appears. And it is just of kind of a bluish neutral tone, and it shatters. And in its place, a new pure white light forms. Not so tight, just kind of a halo ambient around your neck. And within the runes there is the sun as it rotates. Cameron, AJ, William, Chavis, and Jerry can all roll flat d20s for me.
Blind.
Public, yeah.
Okay.
Public.
So
Not
yes.
blind.
I guess it was the wrong answer.
Oh,
It can be revealed.
Yeah, I will reveal. AJ and Chavis need to reroll. Okay. Vesrin. The cube turns to you next as you're close to Kijani. As it begins to rotate rapidly and turn. You can roll a d7 to randomly choose, or you can let me know if there's one that calls to you a specific fundament. Vertex.
I think mind makes the most sense.
Right.
For Vesper.
As the neural net symbol. Similar thing happens to you. A blue neutral colored collar appears and then breaks. And a new halo of light appears around your body. Saradwin. Oh wait, no. Sorry.
What thing did you say?
You had a 5.
Cameron?
Mind.
Consciousness.
Okay. Oh, there. Thank you. I was like, that's not the consciousness.
Consciousness. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
19.
The,
And then
the neurons.
Different notes for different
actually,
people.
it's Jerry. Yeah. Jerry. You're next.
Are we like drawn? Are we walking towards the?
Can
I think
I
it's
just
AJ
want
though.
Yeah, just in case you're going off of like initiative, you've skipped AJ.
No. AJ and Chavis had to re-roll. They rolled 5s. So
fair. Yeah.
Okay.
You're right. I didn't think of it that way.
So, are we walking up to the cube, or is it just this is happening wherever we are standing?
You would be drawn to kind of take a couple steps towards it.
Okay. So. In this moment, because we're given awareness of what all the points mean, there is like a flash in Torfos' mind of, from the perspective of a toddler almost looking up, with their hand holding the hand of a woman with lavender hair, another gnome with lavender hair, and her just looking down and smiling at him. And the point that comes to him is the hourglass.
Okay. Similarly, a bluish color appears. Yours actually, as it appears, feels very tight. Irritating against your skin. The original kind of neutral colored collar pushes into your neck and leaves a bit of a rash before it shatters. And a new halo appears around you. William.
Philium.
I think it is flame.
Okay. Same narrative. It's actually all happens very similarly in time span, all probably within the same round. Your collar appears.
And I'm probably like
Your
not
red
even.
shackle.
I'm like looking over my shoulder at it.
You're
guarding-
probably looking at other people's whose are also doing the same thing.
Wait, I'm trying to like.
Oh yeah,
guard
you've got.
because I expected an explosion, so like I like turned my back and like it didn't happen, so I glanced over and watched this happen over my shoulder.
AJ,
Hi.
Kai.
We're getting. Oh God.
Yes, gravity and space.
We left.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you don't pick the thing
And
you asked for,
math.
Well, so here's the thing. My brain is thinking that gravity also fulfills the function, but might fulfill it better. In my idea that I popped up, I don't know. I'm just gonna go with space. That's fine. Okay, bye.
Okay. Okay. you and then that brings us to Ceridwen. Last pick.
So what's all there? What's all left?
Just the worst one.
It's
chocolate
in,
and I'm just kidding.
I popped it into the
Matter,
Discord chat. I've
gravity-
crossed out what's been getting used.
Technically, matter and gravity are left.
Isn't
Electromagnetism.
magnetism still?
It's still appended to the simian creature.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So life isn't an option.
I
guess-
I apologize. I know that's kind of in theme with what you were going for ultimately, but no. Life
No,
would
that's
be representative of the culmination of existence
All
across
of the
these
things,
things.
yeah.
Yes.
I suppose gravity.
Gravity. All right. As
Did Evie get one?
you all sit here in silence for a couple. No, doesn't appear so. You all sit here in silence for a couple moments. For Evie. What are you guys doing?
Oh my god!
I
Thank
just
the
had
Triska.
the weirdest dream where we were in this room and
Is this it?
shit.
I put her down.
Yeah,
like,
this
she's
one?
like I imagine like she's like talking like.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
my arms, okay, yeah.
She's gonna take a second and kind of like look around and get her bearings, and then she's gonna look at the crew
Okay.
and blink a couple times.
all of your like collars, your halos have faded away at this point. They were just there for like a flashing moment and are gone. Much like the mummified creature. Evie, as you look up, you can see plain as day, as you always can, these runic collars around. And they look very different than what they did when you went to sleep.
Yeah, she'll blink a couple times. What did you do?
Got stuck wherever we're at.
We don't.
No, that's not what I mean.
We don't
What?
really know.
What did you do?
What
Got
are you
stuck
talking
here.
about, Evie?
As you look over at the cube, it begins to rotate. But it doesn't stop. It can't stop. It can't decide.
You're okay, so I'm not supposed to say this because this is one of those social etiquette things that like you're not supposed to point out because it's rude to point out things.
Say
like your collars are different.
Collars?
Our collars.
Your collars are different. You guys used to have everyone who's not magic and can't be, like a witness like me. Like we don't have the funny eyes. Everybody always has a collar, and you're not supposed to bring it up because it's one of those things that like, that's what kind of like constrains the magic. And you guys had always just had a normal blue collar, and now everybody has a white collar, and it looks different. What did you do?
Wait, are you saying
What?
Everybody always has a blue collar. Has a blue collar that has the runes that basically says,
Oh, no.
like suppress the magic. Like
No,
like-
I understood the words that that were
Oh,
coming out of your mouth.
Wait.
What I'm not understanding is the concept that
Like Topher, when you got here, didn't your neck feel kind of like itchy and you kept messing with it and like it just wasn't really comfortable?
The collar represents our inability to cast magic because of the Triska law.
Yeah, no, that's what that sounds like. And
doesn't that fly in
whatever-
the face of the Order of Mastery?
Technically, the collar represents all three
Yeah.
orders. So it is the Triska law.
Can't do magic and can't contain or constrain.
Can't do magic,
people.
can't be withheld, and can't
Yeah.
die until
Wait.
100.
But isn't that the very definition of withholding us?
Yes, but it is not physical. You can't be held physically.
There's a
But
physical
this-
collar.
But do you understand
it's
what
not,
this
it's a
means now?
magical
You don't
collar.
have blue collars anymore. You have like sun bright collars.
I don't know what that
Evie,
means. No.
Evie, I have
Um,
a question for you, Evie.
Yes.
If you wouldn't mind.
Okay.
Do you know anyone else who has a white collar like you're saying we have?
No. Other witnesses have no collar, much like yourself.
Yeah, that's what. So the reason we're not really supposed to bring it up because it's not socially polite is because we don't have them. Like they just don't exist for us, right? Everybody else has a blue one that has the runes that you guys have always had ever since I've met you. I've never seen white before.
Are there runes on these collars?
There's
Yes.
the one, right? Isn't
They
it
each
the
have a symbol of the
yeah? It's
representing
whatever
the one that they chose. Yes.
you technically yes. But all of yours are different. But you so like okay, so like Sarah, you have one rune that goes with you, but that's different than Ollie's. That's different than. Do you see what I mean?
I understand. Thank you for that.
So what runes are on the blue collars?
Normal runes. They're-
It's a Triskelion. It's a three-sided spiral that represents the Triska law.
I see. Okay.
the normal rune.
She says the normal runes. You don't get that part, but yeah, you did see them when they you saw them when they appeared briefly as each of yours snapped.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. So
So-
I would have seen. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
We are wearing. This is a weird question. It seems unrelated, but we are currently wearing our like uniforms.
School uniforms, yeah, except for Kijani, who is in the nude because he's a player
Japanese anime style.
I
That's fan service.
Johnny.
was it Tofro's like rips attempts, I guess, or rips his sleeve off of his uniform.
Yeah, make a strength check. These are like,
You act like that's an easy thing to do.
yeah.
Wipe
Like
your
the
shirt
school
off
uniforms.
now, Jerry.
Go,
No,
do it,
now,
do it,
Jerry.
do it, do it, Jerry.
You know, the school
Show us.
uniforms are like they're well-made material. They're like
This may-
marching
but
band jackets.
Is it one shirt or is it like a? Is there a? Are there
There's like
parts to it? Sorry.
Well,
Okay, rip you. Okay,
They're
take it like this
silk.
and rip it.
they're like it's like an overcoat over like an undershirt.
Fabric doesn't rip very easily.
Usually.
I will take the jacket off then.
Okay.
Is it like a
Make
front
strength check.
jacket or a back jacket? Like,
Make a
is it
strength
to
check.
make
I'm
a
just
certain
kidding.
one turn
No,
to
you-
zip,
you-
or
you-
Ollie, come
yeah,
here. Ollie, come here.
I don't want to because I don't trust Jerry, but I also trust Jerry inherently, so I will walk forward.
Paragon of moral kindness.
Turn around.
Paragon of moral kindness. Yes.
Oh, God,
Turn around.
I don't trust Jerry in
You have to
RPGs
see his
anymore.
results. We
I
have to
do
see his
it.
results.
I do it.
You do it,
but
yeah,
no,
you
I
do it.
trust
attempt
it.
to use my jacket to tie his hands together.
Okay. Yeah, use the
And
sleeves. You tie
uh-huh.
a knot. Tie his hands together.
Then I let go.
Uh,
I punched him in the face.
yeah. You go. They're tied behind your back. You like scoff and you go to pull against the restraints, just like any other time that you might have been restrained. Unattended physical objects can't restrain or enslave people in Astropor. That's the order of mastery. They magically break if you go to push against them.
Yeah.
You pull.
This isn't okay.
Veteran sinks to the
I jump and land on top. I jump backwards and like just do like a
Make a dex
fall
check.
back.
Sari sits down on the ground.
Because now I'm upset.
I don't know what's going on. That's not a
Evie's-
thing I can do.
Evie's
You can't
tapping
make
her
a dex
foot like,
check. So ask
I
for
told
something.
you.
That means
Did the cube stop on Evie?
No,
I can make an acrobatics check.
He
I can't
refuses
make
to
a dex
stop.
check.
on Evie.
I'm
Oh.
confused.
I can make an acrobatics check. I can't make a dex check.
She's. Yes.
Vesrin.
A
Vesrin.
huge thing that I've said several times now.
What?
You can't ask for an ability check anymore.
That's a great question. That's a great point. Make a
I did
acrobatics
the
check.
thing that I know. I said the thing several times before. While
Okay,
you were ignoring me.
You do in fact basically backflip and land kicking
Yeah,
Tofros
I'm trying to
in the
land
chest.
on my back, but on top of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
both
don't know
fall
what's
to the
going
ground.
on. It's more
Tofros'
like
Tofros' short little gnomish body breaks your fall as you body slam him.
It's like fight. This is my fight or flight response. Like I didn't. Like,
What
it was
did I do to
more
you?
instinctive. I don't know. Undo this. I don't know what's going on. I've never experienced this. Stop. Untie me.
You've
Untie
never
me.
been.
No,
Okay,
I've not.
yes,
We can't
okay,
do that.
I'm
Please.
tying-
What do you mean? I've never been tied before.
Stop. Let's.
What do you
Let's
mean?
stop.
I've never experienced this.
Sarah
No.
walks over and unties Ollie.
Yeah,
Let's-
I'm
No, yeah,
sorry.
Tofros.
Please.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Above
in
table,
Casa
no,
Basil,
I've not
people-
experienced it.
In Casablanca, people are tied up all the time. That's who. I apologize.
It's literally
Sometimes
impossible.
for fun.
What the fuck is going on? Oh my god! I just I
don't
just,
think there's a fourth line that says you can't.
Year-old, like I feel bad.
Vesrin.
Reminder:
Vesrin
we're 13 guys.
is having
fucking
like an
12-year-old
existential
talking
crisis.
Yeah, for sure.
On her knees on the floor, just like
So-
looking at her hands.
Evie's gonna get down in front of Vesrin because that's where Vesrin was in front of her at one point, and just kind of grab her face and be like, "It's gonna be okay. I promise. It's gonna be okay. If you feel like puking, put your head between your knees."
There's a drop of water that hits the top of your head. You begin to hear
Pause.
like the sound of rain.
Oh, that's not good.
We need to go. We need to go now.
Where are we going?
Go
Back to the
later.
sigil.
Okay, I guess.
I can't argue with that.
Is there anything
Can't
on
argue
the
with that.
monkey's body?
I pick up the
Move
plant.
body.
Murder hobo out of the
Play it.
gate, session 1.
I would like to loot the monkey.
I would like to loot the monkey, please.
Um,
Johnny is not like he doesn't comprehend what's happening right now. He's just
We have to
Everybody
go.
seems
Let's
to
go.
be
Let's go. Let's
really
go.
upset.
are you rushing for the tunnel?
Yeah, we need. That's where Vesrin sprints to, is to get back to the
Okay.
sigil.
Yeah, sprinting becomes very quickly difficult as there's now 3 to 4 inches of water on the ground. And then in short order, almost a foot. As you're all.
I have the shortest member on my back.
Kijani?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
I'm the smallest.
All right. Evie, you are running along. Your steel-toed boots are really not helping you here. You're like. The water is
Sarah-
like.
Probably also freaking out because all of her like gadgets and gizmos are in her pocket, and she's
And
like,
then-
"They're gonna get wet. They're gonna get wet. They're gonna get ruined. They're gonna get wet, and I
Uh,
can't fix them."
Sarah
get
just
wet.
runs
We'll
up in
just
front of
pick-
her and says,
Pick her up.
"Piggyback, piggyback."
Yeah, okay. Great. As you all rush into the sigil room, as you arrive in here, it's got about a foot of water. As you all kind of walk into the small chamber, it's dark. You're looking around.
Okay, Evie, do it. Do the thing. It was you last time, I think.
Okay, and I think Kai has me on top of Kai's shoulders. I'll peer down and look at the
Yeah, it's
sigil
dark.
again.
I'm
I
gonna
can't
try and use my powers
see
of
anything.
sunlight to create a light
Kijani,
so she can see this shit.
Instinctively, you're like, yes, it is dark. And you hold up a hand.
Buddy. Oh shit! Now I can see. Thanks,
And
Kijani.
Wait, what?
Sunlight beams from your palm. You look up at your palm.
Wait.
You look down. And
Is
Evie goes blank. Her eyes glow. Suddenly you are all sopping wet in the basement of Nikoi's shop.
I
And it flickers out. And that is where we're going to call it for tonight.
oh boy.
Thank you all for joining Twitch.
Bye,
We will
Twitch.
catch you next weekend for session 2 of Injustice.
Awesome. Bye,
Bye,
Twitch.
Twitch.